Once upon a time in the mid-12th century, there was a guy named Euclid. He was a cool guy. He had a beard, probably, and he really liked math. But even with his beard, Mr. Euclid wasn't the coolest lad in the land. That title went to Eratosthenes, because he could calculate the diameter of the Earth using camels. Seriously, that's a real thing he did. You can look that up yourself. That's not part of the joke. Now, Euclid was very jealous of Mr. Eratosthenes, so he decided that he wanted to do something really innovative that would change the way people think about the world. But he failed. In his sorrows, Euclid went to his local implied mental state altering substance distributor, which I will not go into further to keep this PG-13, to drown his tears. Hey man, what if there were like squares, not a real square, like a fake square, as big as anything ever, but it's not really real. It's flat, like it has no sides at all. And what if there were lines? They'd be like squares. They had no sides at all. But what if they had not even the sides of the depth? And what if they could go on forever and ever and never, ever stop? Like, ever. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, Euclid, what are these things made of? They're made of points. But what's a point? A point is another fake thing I just made up because I'm a clever boy. You know, I should write this down. So the next morning, Euclid wakes up and sees this list of things that just make no logical sense at all. And he thinks to himself, you know, it'd be funny if I published this, pretending it was a new type of math. So that's exactly what he did. And 3 days later, he was summoned by the Egyptian government. By the gods, Euclid, you've come up with something revolutionary. We have spoken with the pharaoh to provide you with all the goods you need and more to further your research, and in your honor it shall be called Euclidean geometry from this point forth. Yeah, right, like I'm gonna waste my money on a form of fake math. What was that? Oh, nothing, just monologuing. Oh, okay then. Godspeed, Euclid. Euclid instead used this money to live in all the luxury 12th century Egypt had to offer. We're talking sand, grapes, gold, communications with aliens, more sand, you know, the works. He lived like this for a few months until one day he heard a knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. Hello? Mr. Euclid, I'm here to check on any progress you've made. Euclid was terrified. He didn't want his sand taken away if they found out he'd blown his budget. He quickly grabbed a handful of sand and rocks and started to draw with it. Hello? Are you in there, Mr. Euclid? Euclid quickly finished up his last-minute work before it had to be checked. Ah, hello, sir. I take you'd like to see some of my work. Yes, that'd be great. Come this way, please, then. What is this? Why, these are my visual aids for my postulates. I don't know what that word means, but I like the sound of it. But what exactly does all of this postulate business mean? Well, you see those three rocks? There, and there? Yes. Those represents a point. And through each and any 3 points, there exists exactly one plane. But what is a plane? Well, a plane is a completely flat, infinite shape. But I can clearly see the border. Ah, but this is just a visual aid. I don't have nearly enough sand to make a full plane. Not yet, at least. And you see those 2 points there and there? Yes. Well, between any 2 points, there exists a line, which is also an infinite shape, but this one has no dimensions at all, no sides. It's just a straight, dimensionless entity. And if 2 lines collide, they create a new point. And when those 2 lines collide, they form 4 angles, which altogether add up to 360 degrees in the shape of a circle. Don't worry, I have more. Euclid, in fact, did not have more, and instead had to pull some stuff from an elementary school logic course. If the sand is wet, it will be outside. The sand is outside. Is the sand wet? No, but that's... No, and it's all written here in my big book of Euclidean geometry. Well now, this is truly impressive.
But I must be moving on. I'll be sure to speak fondly of you in the report.
Now, Euclid knew that when the man turned the report in, they'd want to hear more. So once the man left, he immediately got to work on some more Euclidean geometry, addition property, linear pair postulate, substitution property, transversals, alternate interior angles theorem. Proofs. While Euclid was writing down his made-up and impossible concept, his door was kicked in. This is the police. Mr. Euclid, you are under arrest for fraud. Mr. Euclid, you are being charged with fraud. How do you plead? Not guilty, Your Honor. The reflexive property, x equals x. Of course x equals x. This man took money which could be going to gradering Egypt and wasted it saying x equals x. And what about the law of syllogism and the law of detachment, Mr. Euclid? These aren't even numbers. These are sentences. Mr. Euclid, the jury finds you guilty. I sentence you to being made fun of by a teenager in 900 some years from now on the internet.